Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. I'm your host, Joe Zollo. It is the 2025 top rookie breakouts in fantasy football. There's some pretty interesting rookies this year, folks, just as we had last year, a lot of rookie breakouts. So imagine there's going to be a lot of good ones this year. Maybe not at the quarterback position, such as we had last season, but plenty of running backs and receivers to keep your eyes on. The whole crew is here. Let's get into it. Welcome into No Punt Intended, presented by Club Fantasy. The three of us together for the last time.
First and last.
You sound so enthused, Joe. Let me just tell you.
Yeah, the 45,000 back-to-back crowds in Citizens Bank Park will take it out of you just a little bit.
It was awesome, though. I paused it like a proud papa. When I saw you,
apparently, yeah. My dad was like, "You are all over the broadcast." I'm like,
"You were." It was nuts. It was very cool, though.
Am I back there dancing with behind the guys?
Yes, that was no offense. That was when I turned it off, but I was like, I'm not trying to watch Joe dance. But no, I saw you dancing. It was like, hey, how cool was that? And then my attention span had run.
We're all doing the Cotton Eye Joe at one point on the third base side. So I don't know if that made the broadcast, but yeah, it's just another day. We'll be in St. Paul tomorrow, folks. If you're coming to Party Animals Tailgaters game, come say hi. I'll be there on the field. Well, rookie breakouts. I am excited because
to learn who these guys are again.
No, I know who they are. I have to admit, I saw Samson and didn't see the first name. I'm like, who's that guy? And then I scroll down a little more and somebody put Dylan Sampson. I was like, okay, now I know who the guy is. The guy who Quinshon Judkins is getting replaced by.
Gifted a job too.
Yeah, gifted a job too. Shout out my first round dynasty pick this year, Quinshon Judkins. Elite. But we will start with a little different. Trophy Smack. Fantasy football season. Trophy Smack has all the goods to show off your excellence to intimidate your league mates. Wow. Did you write that yourself, Josh?
I did, yeah.
Wow. Look at you. You must be a writer. Get yourself a draft board, as you should, for your live home league drafts or some championship swag to show off on game day. Limited time, use the code CLUBFANTASY. Get a free ring with the purchase of a belt or trophy, $149 or more. And that is a legit belt. It's not just like it's not a bitchy belt. That's a legit belt.
It is heavy.
There's some weight to it, like Ryan's beard. Use the affiliate link in the description of the video. If you're listening on Spotify, you're listening afterwards, just head over to YouTube and find the link. Very easy.
It's in the Spotify description as well.
Yeah, so we get
on Apple.
We have to. I didn't even know there was descriptions on
because
Spotify.
I go through and adjust it after you upload it, Joe.
Yeah.
All right. Upload it. I won't upload it. Then that's all you. Rest the way. It's all you. Hey, your bitch ass.
You're not gonna be on most of the shows anyway, so yeah, it is gonna be on me.
Your bitch ass gonna have to do it the next 8 to 10 weeks. So.
Yeah.
Get used to it, bud. Idiot. Actually, no, I will be there in September for some of the shows, just not week 1. All right. But yes, use the affiliate link in the description. Start shopping on Trophy Smack. Get all your stuff for the season right now. And be sure to like, subscribe. What are we up to? Are we close to 2,000? Can Ryan shave his beard? What are we doing?
12 last I checked.
1412. Okay, so we need 2,000 in the next month or Ryan shaves his beard.
No,
so
we decided. What was it? I had to highlight the beard if it's not in the next month. But I said
cross the tippies.
But if we are at 2,000 by the Super Bowl, we'll call it. Yeah. I will shave my beard on air the next episode.
Wow. Do that, folks. Get us there. Tell your friends. Make bot accounts. We don't care. Whatever you have to do to get us to 2,000. Because I don't know what Ryan looks like without facial hair, and I'm scared to see it. But I think we'd all. Honestly, it might shave 15 years off his life. I think.
Oh, no, it will. It'll shave 15 years off of anybody who has to see me. I'm an overweight white guy. This beard is working wonders on making me moderately attractive.
Sure. Perfect. Jamie says going to create 500 fake accounts just to see that. So that's perfect.
Let's go.
Numbers up. Starting with the NFL news. The Titans have released Treylon Burks.
Pour one out.
I immediately texted Britt Flynn after that. I was like,
yeah,
and that hurts because I know she's a big Arkansas fan. So
more time.
One of the best jokes ever uttered on this show. I can't remember what I said, but it was something about Treylon Burke and playing with his hog.
Yep.
I don't remember the exact line, but I do know it was one of the better jokes ever said on this show.
And that's all
reminder on how the Tennessee Titans acquired Treylon Burks.
Yeah, you saw that.
They traded AJ Brown for the 15th pick, I believe it was.
No, he was the 20-something.
Was it that late?
18.
I thought
Maybe it was 18. I don't remember.
I thought it was earlier. Anyways, they traded AJ Brown for a first-round draft pick from the Philadelphia Eagles.
It was like a first and a third, I think.
So very clearly, the Titans won that trade.
I mean, they literally traded AJ Brown for Treylon Burke. Like they treated it like it was a replacement. They got a couple of other things. I saw the breakdown recently. None of it panned out.
Nope. None of it's on the team.
It's almost like you should keep, much like in Dynasty, keep proven commodities for mystery draft picks. The mystery box could have been anything, even AJ Brown.
Well, remember last year when the Bengals signed Zach Moss and everyone was like, oh, look out, Zach Moss, RB1. Well, he was released.
Yeah, it came out yesterday. I think that his neck break was in 4 different places, which is wild.
Well, that sucks. Also, he's bad at football. So that didn't really help his case. I saw right through the BS. I told you forget Zach Moss and go get Chase Brown, and that's done wonders. So Trey Hendrickson, Terry McLaurin both report to training camp, officially a hold in because they want to make money. And the Cowboys left tackle Tyler Guyton suffered a knee fracture. The ACL is intact, likely out 6 to 8 weeks. Isaiah Likely suffered a small foot fracture in practice on Tuesday. If the surgery goes well, he should be ready for week 1. And the Dolphins, Kader Kohu, if you never heard of him, that makes sense, suffered season-ending injury to his knee. So
their entire secondary is going to be different from last year.
Wow.
They've traded everybody.
And let me tell you, it didn't get any better.
Didn't get better.
It did not get better. It got worse. The secondary got worse. They get rid of all their pieces and got better. They got rid of all their pieces and got worse. So it's not looking good for Miami's defense as a whole. Let's forget just the secondary.
I wonder if that means we'll get a return of the like high flying, high scoring offense. That would be interesting for fantasy anyway.
Would we?
For people hoping for a Tyreek Hill bounce back, yes.
Well, according to NFL GMs and scouts, Tyreek Hill's the 3rd best wide receiver in the NFL.
In the NFL, yeah.
And Drake London's not even on the honorable mention list. So, Josh, you weren't on that show, were you?
No, that was just me and you. No, that was just me and Joe.
Well, we went through the NFL, and I don't think you were. Yeah.
Oh, no, I watched it afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, we flew through stupid fucking rankings. God, people who think the NFL GMs and scouts don't know what they're talking about,
they don't.
That solidified it right there. Solidified it right there. I don't know why we started this question. Who the hell is Lan Larison? That sounds like a. I
started because I figured maybe you would know. I have no clue who this is.
I assume they played for the Bananas.
He is a football player for the New England Patriots.
There you go.
Is this? Oh, this is the white running back. That's like
it's the white dude with the porn stash.
Oh, well now,
and he's a New England.
Now I'm a fan as well.
And he's played at UC Davis. 641 carries, 3,600 rushing yards, and 41 touchdowns. Yeah, sign me the fuck up.
That'll do.
Lan Larison. I hope this guy. This is Brandon Bolden, but white. Guaranteed.
I don't know if Jamie's being facetious or honest here, but he says he's never fumbled in his entire career.
I mean, why would he? Why would there be any reason to lie about that? He's from Caldwell, Idaho. Sign me up.
There you go.
Corn-fed running back. Yeah. And Vince, great secondary, is now 4th dairy. It doesn't flow, but I see where you're going there. That was funny. I like it. And is Chase Claypool the 3rd best wide receiver in the NFL? Well, for a point in time, he was a tight end to people, but we couldn't play him at tight end. If you could, during that year, if you could play Taysom Hill at tight end, you should be able to play Chase Claypool at tight end.
That's fair.
Tell me I'm wrong. So, yeah. Lan Larison. Is that guy? If he's available in our sleep, I'm going to go pick him up right now. So as we start talking, I'm going to go see if this guy's available, and I'm going to go pick him up. Rookie breakouts. We've talked about rookies all offseason. Pre-post draft. Now it's actually time to put up or shut up.
Yeah.
Whip it out on the table or the field. And fun fact, Will Campbell's sucking. So that's huge. Love that the Patriots just can't draft. Literally like,
he's got to get the sucking out in training camp. So
pause. They're saying that
there's a lot going on right now that
so
I don't feel comfortable with.
Well, to add to that, they're saying his length is a problem. Pause. Which his big thing coming out of college was his arm length.
His big thing coming out of college.
Like 32 and a half. But he's apparently struggling with engaging and in the interior swim moves, which is a telltale sign of short wingspan and arm length. He's getting beat by Kaylavon Chason.
We got that.
Remember that name? He's on his 4th team in
arms.
5 years. Ugh, gross. Okay. All right. Well, apparently Lan Larison's dad retweets every post if you tag Lan. So it looks like we got to tag him.
More importantly, let's just get Lan on the show.
Clip it and tag. We could. I know one of the Patriots writers. I'll get a connection. There we go. All right. There's a lot. Now there's guys that have creeped up draft boards. There's guys that have stayed creeping up draft boards. There's guys that have fallen down draft boards. I wouldn't say the rookies so much so, but there have been a couple guys that have slid. The rookies inside the top 50 of ADP. Ashton Jeanty is 11th overall at RB5. Omarion Hampton is 36th overall at RB14. And Tetairoa McMillan, 50th overall at wide receiver 25. Yes, half of the top 50 picks are wide receivers. Feels like a lot. Now, if you have watched this show, listened to the show over the past, what's it been since the draft, 3.5 months or so, 3 months? We all like Omarion Hampton. We hate that he's RB14. Yeah. So this first one being, who exceeds expectations in 2025 will not feature Omarion Hampton, but it will feature Mike Evans light, according to Ryan Weisse and Tetairoa McMillan. Yeah. So Ryan, I know you have exposed yourself a lot to Tetairoa McMillan, as I've been told your exposure rate is high to Tet. Why do you think he exceeds expectations in 2025?
It's mainly just the situation he lands in. And it's part of the reason that I like Tetairoa McMillan to begin with, is that he falls into a system where Dave Canales hasn't had a Mike Evans type in this offense. So we have no point of comparison, but we do have a point of comparison of what Dave Canales did with Mike Evans. It was great. And Tet is not exactly Mike Evans. I think he's far, far thinner than Evans. Tet comes in at 6'4", 220. I would guess Evans is a little bit heavier than that and an inch taller, but there's going to be some growing pains. But the fact of the matter is this: when you look at this offense, there is no alpha target earner that is anywhere near the level of what we saw from Tetairoa McMillan in college. So all of the stars have aligned that, for me personally, he's a tall wide receiver, which everyone knows I have a thing for. He goes to a system that has done well for a tall wide receiver in fantasy, and there's no competition on the team. And then you throw in the fact that I also have a love affair with Bryce Young right now and what he did to end last season. QB6 over the last 6 games of the season, scored a touchdown in the last 9 games. There's every reason to believe this Carolina Panthers offense is going to be better this year, that Bryce Young is going to be better this year. And it's not unheard of for a wide receiver to step in and be good as a rookie. I'll be perfectly honest. Right now, I don't have Tetairoa, rather, I don't want to disrespect, Tetairoa ranked much higher than what his ADP is. But if I'm thinking about a guy who can exceed my expectations, it's 100% him. Joe, we actually talked about this on our mock draft episode. With the way you and I draft, with the way specifically that I draft, I am comfortable having this young man as my wide receiver 1 in fantasy because I think there are big things on the horizon.
Okay. Josh, to the flip side, again, we have 3 guys to talk about, and Omarion Hampton is not going to be one of them, knowing what we have in store. You think Ashton Jeanty exceeds expectations? How much can he exceed them 4 spots ahead of where he's being taken?
Yeah, and that's really what it boils down to. Like when I was going through and constructing the show sheet, I was like, man, I don't love Hampton where he's at. So I got to make the case for Ashton Jeanty. So you know what? Fuck it. We ball. We know what he was able to do in college. The dude was unstoppable. He likely should have been the Heisman Trophy winner. Over 2,600 rushing yards, an ungodly amount of touchdowns. I mean, he goes to a Raiders team. He's drafted 6th overall. Running backs just don't get drafted that high. So the expectation should be he is going to eat like a fat kid at a buffet, plain and simple. And when you look at the depth chart behind him, you have Zamir White, who was the failed starter last year. You have Sincere McCormick, who was the waiver wire darling for 1 week and then did nothing. You have a 33-year-old Raheem Mostert, who has had quite literally 1 good season his entire career. And second-year Dylan Lobb, or Lobby, however you pronounce his last name, who couldn't even get on the field last year.
Don't you disrespect Dylan Lobb. That's University of New Hampshire Wildcat legend Dylan Lobb. Okay, thank you.
Cool story. My point is, if Ashton Jeanty doesn't touch the ball over 300 times, the Raiders wasted their pick.
Yeah, it's because Dylan Lobb stole his job.
Took it right out from under him.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Pete Carroll comes in, takes over as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. He brings in Chip Kelly to be the offensive coordinator. Say what you want about Chip Kelly as a head coach in Philadelphia. His offense worked. His offense was damn good. And he utilized running backs really well. Between DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews, they had a lot going on for them when it came to running the football and catching passes. Yeah. When you look at peak Marshawn Lynch with Pete Carroll between 2011 and 2014, his fantasy finishes 6, 5, 5, and 4. He is a top 6 running back. That is what this offense can produce. Never once in those 4 seasons did Lynch have less than 313 touches. So that should be the expectation for Ashton Jeanty going into this season. Yes, the offensive line leaves a little bit to be desired, but there's pieces there, a new scheme that comes in. They can make this work. There's not, outside of Brock Bowers, I love Jacoby Myers, but there aren't elite pass-catching options. So that should tell you that Ashton Jeanty is likely to be the 3rd target, or at highest the 3rd target in this offense. So there's going to be a plethora of opportunities where Jeanty can come in and be a 4.4 yards per carry guy, even a 4.6 if the offense works the way that Chip Kelly wants it to work, because they're going to go fast. And when you go fast, you wear down a defense. And that is what Ashton Jeanty has the ability to do, because he is a guy that can handle a large carry workload. And there are few players in the NFL that can actually do that. So when you have Ashton Jeanty wearing your defense down, it leaves you for a lot of big play opportunities later in games. Don't be surprised if Ashton Jeanty has multiple 200-yard rushing games this year as a result of that. I'm not saying he's going to approach the 2,000-yard mark, kind of what Saquon did, or, you know, even get above like the 1,500-yard mark in his rookie season. But I don't think over 1,300 yards and 10-plus touchdowns is out of the realm of possibilities. You add in the fact that he's likely to see 50-plus targets. All of that buttons up to a potential top 5 ceiling, which can easily get to 4-3-2-1, depending on how the injury woes go at the running back position, because running backs were moderately healthy last year. So what goes up must come down, right? So, I mean, yeah, Vince, I hear you. Counterpoint, it's the Raiders. I get that. It's a Pete Carroll Raiders team. I'm willing to bet on Pete Carroll.
I think the point you made that I agree the most with, and Jeanty does stat out as my RB3 right now in PPR formats, is that when we look at some of the absolute studs that have come in the last few years, and the 2 who come to mind are the 2 top running backs in fantasy right now, Bijan Robinson and Ashton Jeanty. They both came into situations where they were kind of forced to split carries. Bijan Robinson, it was strange because like we like Tyler Algier, but we really just
but also Tyler Algier came off 1,000-yard season.
Exactly.
So it's not like he was bad, right?
Yep, and then Gibbs the same situation with David Montgomery, whereas that's not happening in Las Vegas. They're not going to be like, we have to get Raheem Mostert the ball. They should get Sincere McCormick the ball, but sadly they won't.
They should get Dylan Laub the football. Listen, the man is electric.
The only thing that could save him at this point is Pete Carroll, because that kid was a healthy scratch for more than, I think, 12 games last season. Clearly, I already forget who was there last season. Exactly. They hated him. So,
oh my God, what? He was the former who the hell is the defensive coordinator? Why can't I think of his name?
You mean the offensive coordinator?
No. The guy who they fired.
Antonio Pierce.
Thank you.
Pierce.
Yeah. I couldn't think of his name. Yes, could not think of his name.
Yeah, I don't know what Laub did to upset them because they drafted him.
He probably just wasn't ready. See, that to me, that's this is not the Dylan Laub show, but boys from New Hampshire, and we're going to talk about the one guy that ever existed from New Hampshire in the NFL. If you're a healthy scratch 6th round pick and you're still on the roster, doesn't that say something?
Yeah, that's true too. That they
right,
just
like at that point, if you're going to healthy scratch, they just cut him. Right, like why is he still on the team now? With obviously Carroll didn't draft him, Chip Kelly didn't draft him, so that is red flags. But they didn't draft any of these backup.
I was just going to say the only people they chose, quote unquote, are Jeanty and Mostert's not going to be around forever. So
yeah, and yeah, you have old Mostert. Zamir White's a fucking bum. I just think Love is a change of pace back comparative to what the others are. Like if it's him, Sincere, and Love, there's your 3. And most teams keep 4, which would probably end up being Mostert. And honestly, I think Zamir White gets cut because
that would not shock me one bit.
Yeah, why do you need Zamir White when you just have?
Because White's not a special teams guy either.
No, Dylan Laub is a special teams guy. When he was active, he was on special teams. So that's my point. Is Dylan Laub going to do anything? No, but for my dynasty team, he better fucking do something at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. This is hilarious. Ryan, I can make the case for you here. Make the case for Omarion Hampton as a top 15 running back. If it's anything besides Najee Harris takes a dirt nap, I don't really know what.
So
like there's no other way.
It's essentially the way I was going to go with it. I think there are 2 things. And just to reiterate what Joe said earlier, this show likes Omarion Hampton, the running back.
A lot. He's a fantastic player.
We do think he's being drafted as if Najee Harris is already dead.
Yes.
So the case for Omarion Hampton as a top 15 running back, and I got to be perfectly honest, looking at my projections, he's my RB 18. So this isn't a large stretch for me.
You're drafting him at his ceiling right now.
You're drafting him at his ceiling is 100% true. I don't think, yes, I already have him plus 200 carries. I have him and Najee splitting the passing work. So this is what it really comes down to. To get Omarion Hampton over the hump, Najee Harris has to fuck up. And we've kind of already seen it with some irresponsibility during 4th of July. Jim Harbaugh, doesn't seem like the type who's going to tolerate shit like that. So there's a world where Omarion Hampton comes to camp, bust his ass for these next 4 weeks, when Najee Harris may not play all of them. I don't know how much he's going to play, but he may not play all of them. But there's a world where Omarion Hampton comes to camp for these next 4 weeks and shows Jim Harbaugh exactly why he drafted him. In that world, Omarion Hampton finishes this season with 250 plus carries and 50 plus targets. That's all it's going to take. So I'm not going to say that Najee needs to die, but if Najee makes another mistake and starts dipping his toe in the Antonio Brown waters, I don't know Najee. I don't think it's going to go that way. But there is a world, because if it's not Najee, it's not Kamani Vidal. There's very little competition, and he all of a sudden, Omarion Hampton ends up in a Ashton Jeanty situation, and all of a sudden he becomes a value at draft day. Right now, not that.
Yeah, my whole take is, and I feel like of the 3 of us, I'm definitely the lowest on Omarion Hampton heading into this year, mostly because I think he's a talented player, but the way that some people talk about him, he's like a Hall of Fame guy before he even starts playing.
Yeah.
And that is really what worries me, because I see Najee Harris with speed. That's it. Like, that's honest to God what I see with Omarion.
How many times have we dubbed a guy coming out of the University of North Carolina as a Hall of Famer, and then they get drafted and they suck?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really do the helmet scouting like you do, Joe, but I digress.
Am I wrong?
The whole thing here is like when you it's just the Greg Roman system. That's really what it is. Well, Mitchell Trubisky got hurt. Let's be real here.
So I do want to just throw out, though, Josh, you are absolutely correct. I decided to go pull up our rankings, which are live at clubfantasyffl.com. And it's me, you, and Chris who have rankings right now. I am the highest. When I did these rankings, he was RB22. He has moved up to my 18. You are the lowest. You have him at 35, whereas Chris has him at 25. So you are
35 is insane.
Yeah, I mean, again, I do mine based off projections. I still have Najee winning the split carry share here, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
For me, when I talk to other people about Omarion Hampton, it's he's gonna come in, he's gonna catch all the passes that they throw to running backs, et cetera, et cetera. This team threw the football to running backs 55 times last year.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
So even if he sees all 55 of those targets, again, that means Najee Harris is dead.
That's like, it's dirt nap Najee. Like,
that's what I'm saying. So like, and I'll use this as a prime example. Like, some people want to say, oh, well, LaShawn McCoy had over 50 targets with Greg Roman in Buffalo. Not a single wide receiver on either of those Buffalo teams had over 100 targets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's LaShawn McCoy.
It was a
and it was an established LaShawn McCoy. It's not like it was
very established. Correct.
Yeah.
So
like
now let's go back to his time. Let's go back to his time in San Francisco. He walks in with an established Frank Gore. Frank Gore coming off of a shortened season with playing only 11 games. Did you know that Frank Gore in 11 games had 72 targets?
No.
4 straight seasons before Greg Roman got there. Frank Gore never had less than 66 targets in a season. When Greg Roman got a hold of Frank Gore never had more than 36 targets in a season. So like, and Frank Gore is headed to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Apparently, people have already dubbed Omarion Hampton in the Hall of Fame. So like, this is literally the whole point of this exercise. Yes, there is 100% a case to be made for Omarion Hampton to be a top 15 running back. But let's look at the other side of the coin that nobody really wants to pay attention to.
In the nicest way possible, Najee Harris needs to go to sleep.
This may be the most morbid episode of MPI ever.
I mean, well, they ain't give me the last morbid joke looking at these. How does Emeka Egbuka?
Well, I was going to say, and that's true too. But I did also point out the emergency thing last year that if the Browns kill all of their players, they get like a whole bunch of draft picks. That's probably still the most morbid episode. So,
in all reality, if the carries are split 70-30, Omarion Hampton could finish top 15. He would need to be really good, but he could finish top 15.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of us seeing the being split 70-30. It's 60-40 maybe.
That's probably about what I have it as.
Still feels like a stretch. But it really feels like it's going to be like it could be who has the hot hand. Like that very well could be what Harbaugh
that seems
says.
like the kind of offense these guys are going to run is if somebody's getting it.
If someone's hot, you're in. Yeah. Have fun. Like it's not what the Patriots did in their rotation with Zeke and Ramondre Stevenson a couple of years ago. It was one series, the next series, and they just keep switching. No, it's that Jim Harbaugh is who's hot. We're gonna give him the football.
Yep.
So it's unbelievable. Okay. This question actually leads perfectly into our next rookies 51 through 100 in ADP. So before I bring up Steven's question, we have TreVeyon Henderson, 57th overall, RB20. RJ Harvey, pretty much right behind him, 62nd overall and RB23. Travis Hunter, literally directly behind him at 63rd overall at wide receiver 32. Kalen Johnson, RB25, 70th overall. Matthew Golden, 90th overall, wide receiver 46. And Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver 48 at 100th overall. Feels interesting that half of the top 50 picks are receivers, but then after that, only 23 up until pick 100 are receivers.
It gets a little strange.
Yeah, it feels like it feels like there would be more receivers back for, I could be wrong. I mean, I guess that's where tight ends go, so maybe not. Just feels weird. But that perfectly leads into Steven's question. You're trying to buy TreVeyon Henderson in Dynasty. What should be looking to pay for him? So, I mean, it's a 12-team PPR. We're going to assume that's probably not a super flex. That's normally given here. Second round pick.
Oh,
yeah.
TreVeyon Henderson was a first round rookie pick, so like that should very well be your starting point. That should be.
Yeah, you need to offer a 1 and hope that person is. This is going to sound harsh, but giving up on this season. If I just paid a 1 for Henderson and he hasn't played a game,
I want a 1+.
Yeah, I'm not moving him for a 1. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to find another piece that makes sense to them.
In terms of just rookie picks, I would say like a mid-first, early to mid-second. And I think that would be fair price, but even that wouldn't get me to move them.
Well, I say if it's super flex, I'm going to go the opposite route of you, Josh. I'm not going to offer a 1 and a 2 in super flex for Henderson because as good as Henderson might be, running backs are fading and I need every chance I can get to get quarterbacks. So
a 2028 5th round pick. Take it or leave it.
Somebody offered a 2028 4 and Keenan Allen for a 2028 5 and was immediately rejected, Joe.
I just love how you wanted him to retire as a member of Brock's Cock. I appreciate it.
I was trying to help you take him back because I have to cut one player and it's going to be sad when I have to.
You think my ass with the 7,500 players under the age of 22 that I have on my roster have room?
When I looked at your roster, I realized that you weren't going to do that trade.
I have zero room. Would I love to have Keenan Allen and then he eventually gets signed by a team later this year and he helps me push me into the playoffs metaphorically? Yes, of course I would love that.
Steven, to further answer the question, if you're looking outside of draft picks, likely the person that drafted TreVeyon Henderson needs a running back. So if you're trying to get Henderson from that person, you likely need to offer up another running back.
Tight end. Oh.
Like, I would say probably a running back and a second pick. But again, it boils down to which running back that is. If they drafted Henderson, they probably don't want another older running back. So the likelihood of being able to move like Aaron Jones or a Tony Pollard,
what I'm doing right now,
or James Conner, like is really slim.
I'm going after there's a team in a super flex league I'm in that is desperate at quarterback, but leaving the quarterbacks out of it, we're not exactly in on the price that he wants to pay for the quarterbacks. So I want Kalen Johnson. And a part of what I'm willing to give up is Cam Scatabo because I have Johnson far ahead of Scatbo. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe you're willing to take a small downgrade at running back to get this upgrade somewhere else. So if you were able to grab one of these rookies who aren't.
Yeah, like a Basal Tootin, Cam Scatabo, Dylan Sampson, maybe.
One of those like rookies plus a 1 might spark a little bit of interest because then they feel like, well, I got my rookie running back. I got my 1 back. I'm okay to move off of Henderson.
I don't think you're getting them, but
it's and that's most people are very hesitant to give up on somebody they haven't seen play yet.
That's exactly what I was going to say is it's once rookies get on teams, I feel like it's weird. I will say I have in multiple leagues traded Cam Scatabo already. And in every league where I've drafted Tyler Shugg, I am trying to trade him before he throws a single fucking ball because I think this is just going to go terribly. So.
Wait until week 5 when people are ready to give up on TreVeyon Henderson.
Exactly.
Because he's not going to do anything in his first 8 weeks. That's going to be of note. Welcome to his
I know that's how you feel.
Patriot system.
Exactly. Yep.
I already know what's going to happen. But speaking of that, Josh, you think he exceeds expectations in 2025? Again, that's not to say he doesn't. I just don't think he does much in the first half of the season.
And that's fair. But I mean, we see all the time where players don't do much in the first half, but then catch lightning in the bottle in the second half, right? So the biggest thing for me with TreVeyon Henderson, what he brings to the table as a pass catcher instantly vaults him into that top 15 stratosphere of potential, right? Pass catching absolutely dominates when it comes to running backs. That's what we live for in PPR leagues. That is what we want. Henderson should see, I'd argue 70% of the RB targets, if not more than that. We know that Stevenson has pass catching chops, like he's done it, but it's not something that they openly rely on him to do or typically want him to do, I'd say. Henderson's an elite pass blocker. It's going to get him on the field on those crucial downs where he can be an outlet. But also, too, when you look at the Patriots wide receiver situation, they have a dearth of talent there. Like, it's not good. There's hope that Stephon Diggs has something left in the tank. There's hope that Kyle Williams becomes something. And by all accounts, like training camp reports, he's doing really well. The team seems to be out on Polk and Baker, their wide receiver rookie picks from a year ago. So, like, there's not much going on outside of those guys. And, of course, you've got Pop Douglas in the slot and whatever Kayshon Boutte has left. But if you're telling me that I can create a mismatch by putting TreVeyon Henderson in the slot versus trotting out a C or D list wide receiver, what am I going to do if I'm Josh McDaniels? I'm going to lean more towards the running back, right? It gives you a chance to operate different personnel sets. You utilize that 21 personnel. You put Stevenson on the field with Henderson. You can do a lot of different things with that. The way that I expect this running back share or the rush share to operate, I do think that Stevenson comes in and has over 200 carries, and we've been pretty vocal about that this offseason.
Yeah,
Drake May can run the football. I think he's going to top 100 carries, right? So that, in theory, is going to put Henderson probably around 125 carries. Maybe
I would like
more.
to add a note there from training camp is that they are he's not scrambling as much.
Well, he shouldn't be in training camp.
Well, no, but like he was last year.
Yeah.
And this year, they're trying to get that out of him and actually make decisions and get the ball into his playmakers' hands, and they're more designed runs. So you actually might not see as many carries out of Drake May.
And that's fair, but like you work on those types of things in practice to help him through the progressions, right? But in game situations, he's going to take off. Because it's not a dead ball. Let's reset and you know what I mean. So like,
well, yeah, on a 3rd and 8, if it's open, take off. But like they're like beating out of him. Like if it's 1st and 2nd, like down, like don't risk your body. So
but again,
throwing that out there.
100 carries in 16 games is not much.
Yeah,
even for a quarterback that can run. So like, I think it's within the realm of possibilities. Like I think I only have Henderson statted out at like 136 carries. So, like, I'm not saying that he's going to light the world there, but there's, he's very likely to have 60-plus targets. Let's be honest here. This is a Josh McDaniels offense.
Yeah, they'll spread him wide. Yeah.
Yeah, but the other aspect here that I think is maybe going under the radar for some people, for as big a back as Ramondre Stevenson is, he's a terrible red zone runner. He's absolutely terrible running the football in the red zone.
Can we take last year out of it? But his O-line was horrible last year.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree.
He's not efficient. You are correct.
And so if there's a chance, and we've covered this conversation throughout this offseason, Josh McDaniels, his teams are typically in the upper third of the NFL in rushing touchdowns scored. So if Ramondre Stevenson can't score them, and if Henderson does, there's your outlet to getting Henderson in that top 15 at the running back position, right?
Yeah.
So it's always circumstance. But I don't think many people would disagree with the fact that TreVeyon Henderson is a more talented back than Ramondre Stevenson.
I think we're forgetting that Larison is going to be taking some of these carries and touchdowns.
It's over. The competition's ended.
Who's TreVeyon Henderson, if not Larison? Okay. Yeah. So I think Henderson has a good season. I think he has a better football season than he does fantasy football season, and he'll grow on it in year 2 and year 3, and he'll be useful.
Yeah.
I will say I was tempted to not pick Henderson here because he's at the top of this part, like, RB20. It's kind of similar to Jeanty. It's like, how much better can they really get? Like, I the more that I hear the camp reports on Matthew Golden, the more I'm really starting to buy into him as a potential, top 30 wide receiver in fantasy this year.
Yeah, God, I love De'Ami Brown camp reports too. It's awesome. It's awesome. They always get me every single year, and everyone's like, "Oh, De'Ami Brown," and then he's wide receiver 5 on the depth chart. So, who I thought you would put is Caleb Johnson, but instead
Ryan got to the sheet first.
I was about to say,
I made the sheet. Go figure.
Doesn't happen often, but Ryan filled out first this time.
Yeah, Ryan must have gone to the show sheet first because I was like, Josh feels like.
Honestly, I've talked enough about my love for Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't know what more I can
say.
I
mean, this feels like the layup of this category.
And that's kind of where I was going to go with it. First and foremost, the camp pictures of Caleb Johnson make me feel things. That kid is a fucking unit. 6'1", 240 pounds, I think. Like, the kid is
small.
225 rather. But regardless, if there was ever a player created for a system, it's Caleb Johnson and fucking Arthur Smith. And when you look at the situation, he's probably a better fit than the non-efficient Najee Harris coming in here. I was one of the people who wanted to crown Jaylen Warren before the draft. But the fact of the matter is this: there is no reason for the Steelers to switch up the split they had last year. Jaylen Warren is not a guy who commands 150 rushing attempts. He's going to get the passing work and probably in PPR formats be the more valuable of these two backs. But the question is, who's going to exceed expectations? When this whole process started, I had them close to a 50-50 split. I right away was like, no, I need to slide that towards Caleb Johnson. Every day I find myself giving Caleb Johnson more and more carries because it just makes sense. Najee Harris had 263 carries in this offense last year. He, of course, averaged 4 yards a carry. I think Caleb Johnson's going to be better than that. I think he's going to have a better opportunity to find the end zone. He's not going to get the targets that Najee Harris got. Najee Harris got 48 targets last season. But I think there's a chance he gets the same amount of carries, does more with them, and not just does more with them on yards per carry, but probably finds the end zone more. I think the love for Jaylen Warren is warranted, but I think Caleb Johnson is ready to kind of take the AFC North by storm because he is just built for the North and built for Arthur Smith's system.
That's Steelers football. That's old school Steelers football.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And I hate to break it to everybody, but Land Larison did have 62 receptions his final season at UC Davis. So if we're talking about TreVeyon Henderson, we got Land Larison is the theme of the show. We should change to Tetairoa McMillan leads the way. Land Larison steals the show is what we should change the name of the episode to. But Caleb Johnson is the classic. Let's run the football.
Yeah.
And what does Pittsburgh do historically?
Football.
Run the football. They've had some pretty decent running backs in their illustrious history. Franco Harris, Jerome Bettis, just to name a couple. How about Rashard Mendenhall for a few years? Throwback.
Willie Parker, that's going back.
Willie Parker was a dog too. Didn't he and Mendenhall play together, or was Mendenhall?
Yeah. So it was Bettis, Jerome Bettis, and Willie Parker, and then Willie Parker
and Mendenhall. Yeah, and then like a bunch of schlubs, and now Caleb Johnson. I say schlubs. I think Cordero Patterson.
I mean, Le'Veon Bell was in between all that. Come on now.
Well, Le'Veon Bell for a season and a half. Then he went to New York. So, yikes. Okay. Now we're making cases. All right. It's like deal or no deal. RJ Harvey, top 15. Sean Payton just forgets he has other running backs, or?
No, I mean, look, Sean Payton, he likes that split system. This was a very inefficient backfield for the Broncos last year. Nobody had 140 carries between Javonte Williams, Audric Estime, and Jaleel McLaughlin. You bring in RJ Harvey, they spend a second-round pick on him. Javonte Williams had 70 targets in this system, and that still was only about less than a 21% target share at the running back position in a Sean Payton offense. Payton's offenses are usually 25% and above in target share for the running back position. Harvey has got some juice. This running back room last year just lacked explosiveness all across the board. I know a lot of people want to make the case for J.K. Dobbins, but Dobbins had literally 2 100-yard games last year. They came in the first 2 weeks of the season. After week 2, he averaged 3.8 yards per carry and missed 4 games. Like, he was okay for what his overall season came out to be, but there's a reason that he went unsigned until June. If you really want to say, well, Audric Estime is good. I mean, let's be real. If he was good, they wouldn't have signed J.K. Dobbins. If Jaleel McLaughlin was good, they wouldn't have thrown the football 70 times to Javonte Williams. So like there is a clear path for RJ Harvey to dominate this backfield, plain and simple. He's just got to show that he can do it because Sean Payton's going to give him the opportunity to do it. We've seen a scenario where Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram were both top 10 running backs. So if you like Dobbins, it's okay to still like RJ Harvey and think that his RB 23 price tag is still too low. So there's a world where this offense can support 2 top 15 running backs. I'm okay taking RJ Harvey. I'm warming up to the idea of taking RJ Harvey at his current price.
I think the point you touched on, but that I would really hammer home on this is Sean Payton notoriously has a pass catching running back. We talked about this last year. Jaleel McLaughlin is a tiny little thing. He does not belong on the field in receiving downs. And because he's little, we like to pretend that's what he's good at. His numbers don't bear out him being a receiving back. And you know who else numbers
I think
don't
it was
bear
like less than 6 yards per reception last year.
Yeah. You know who else doesn't bear it out? J.K. Dobbins. We know what J.K. Dobbins is, and it ain't a receiving back. So the fact of the matter is this. If RJ Harvey, who had decent college receiving numbers, steps in here and can remind Sean Payton of Alvin Kamara, it's over. He is the fantasy back to own in this backfield.
Forget Kamara. Let's take it back to 2006.
Okay. Joe was 4 years old.
I was 8.
Okay.
So
I was half right.
You're half right. Guy had 155 rushing attempts, which ended up being 5th most in his career in a season. He had 565 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns.
I know you're not trying to compare RJ Harvey to Reggie Bush.
He had 121 targets, which was a career high for Reggie Bush.
Get the fuck out of here.
And 88 receptions for 742 yards. He only had 2 touchdowns through the air. I'm not comparing the two, but if we're putting rookie running backs in a Sean Payton system up against each other, we'll want to say, well, how's this guy going to crack the top 15? The way Reggie Bush did.
Well, I was going to say, and to be fair, he didn't crack the top 15, but Kamara popped as a rookie in Payton's system as well. So
but he wasn't even that good. I guess he had 100 targets.
Dude, Kamara, his rookie year was a top 5 running back.
Oh, was he top 5?
Yeah.
I did not think he popped like that.
Oh, well,
yeah,
because he had 6.1 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't the feature back. Yeah. 120 attempts, 728 yards, 8 touchdowns. Okay, so that's the thing is, can RJ Harvey be a feature back? Because he's not gonna split like Kamara was. Kamara was the very clear 1B. So can Harvey handle the 1A?
Well, even if he can't handle the 1A, again, what I'm saying, if you're in on J.K. Dobbins as the 1A, it's okay to be in on Harvey as a 1B, and still a top 15 running back.
I'm not in on Dobbins as the 1A, so that's why I'm worried.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Also, 3 straight seasons, 81 receptions for Alvin Kamara. Mm-hmm. That's weird. It's strange.
That is strange.
Just catch one more pass, or drop one more.
Don't be weird,
doesn't matter to me. It's just weird. Make the case for Travis Hunter. So somebody earlier said Hunter over Tetairoa McMillan.
Yeah, I saw that.
Make the case for Travis Hunter as a top 20 wide receiver, non-IDP.
Yeah, because he's top 10 in leagues where he's getting IDP scoring. I think the case for Travis Hunter non-IDP is a case of 2 underestimations. The first is Travis Hunter himself, because we are, how do I want to put this? We're treating this guy, we're treating this guy like he's an enigma because of the 2 position thing. But the fact of the matter is this: he was a hell of a wide receiver. He was not.
He won the Biletnikoff Award last year.
Won the Biletnikoff Award. He is now the 2nd overall pick of the draft. And obviously, a lot of that is the skill set he brings that we've never seen anybody bring before. But what if we're overthinking this? And he is just a damn good wide receiver. Obviously, Brian Thomas Jr. is there. I'm not going to take anything away from Brian Thomas Jr. There's nobody else there. Brenton Strange is average at best. The wide receivers behind these 2 are average at best. There are pass-catching running backs, but that's still enough for there to be a world where Travis Hunter is a 120 or 130 target wide receiver.
De'Ami Brown's there.
And then if he finds the end zone, and obviously I'm not going to sit here and it's hard to predict touchdowns, folks. But if the defenses freak out on Brian Thomas Jr. and all of a sudden Travis Hunter finds the end zone 10 times, that case makes itself. The second underestimation, and Joe, I assume you knew where I was going to go with this, is can Liam Cohen head coach a team and still call the offense we saw in Tampa Bay? If this is Liam Cohen's offense, there's very little standing in the way of Travis Hunter having a great season. But the fact of the matter is this. It's not exactly the Tampa Bay team, and Liam Cohen's not exactly the offensive coordinator. So the fact that if we are underestimating Liam Cohen's ability to call his offense while being the head coach and just being a flat out fucking weirdo, then there is a world where Travis Hunter we've talked about this. Is Travis Hunter, I guess, the Mike Evans role while Brian Thomas Jr. is the Chris Godwin role? If Liam Cohen has his
flipped.
I was going to say, I didn't remember exactly how we described it, but that's even better. Because Chris Godwin was really fucking good with Liam Cohen last year. And if that's the role that Travis Hunter is going to play in a functional Liam Cohen offense, the sky's the limit for this kid. So the case is underestimation. How much are they going to let him do his rookie year?
Yeah, 100%. Like all the reports that are coming out, like when he's playing wide receiver, he looks like the best wide receiver on the team.
Yeah.
So like for me, the hesitation in drafting Travis Hunter is the idea that while he could be the best wide receiver on this team, he's very likely the best corner on this team.
Yeah, and that's the other issue.
And if they get so depleted at corner where they need to pull him away from offense and his snaps now shift more to one side of the football.
Yeah.
Because this can't be like college. He's not going to play 120 snaps a game. It's just not going to happen.
Or he's a freak, and he is.
Then he's not going to make it to December. Let's be honest here. Especially in Florida, where the heat is unbearable in September and October.
Isn't he from
Speaking
Florida?
as somebody that lives in Florida, I can attest to that.
I'll say, he's from Florida.
He's from Florida.
I don't give a shit where you're from. I played football in this heat, and it's still fucking
blood,
sucks.
Josh.
You're not Travis Hunter. Okay? You
again, not saying I am. I'm just saying it's still difficult to play. Playing 60 to 80 snaps on offense in Florida Heat, that's one thing. Playing 120 or more on both sides of the football,
that's not happening.
That's just different. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
So that therein lies that's the enigma side of it. Like if they get hurting so bad on defense, are they going to say, look, we got to scale back down because we do believe that De'Ami Brown can be something. We like, Parker Washington, Philly, or Malik Washington, whichever Washington boy is in Jacksonville. They can fill the gaps even if it's not the same guy. They don't have those fill the gap type players in the secondary because Jacksonville's defense is just god awful right now.
Last one before we head into 100, 150. Just give me the quick elevator pitch on Emeka Egbuka as a top 30 receiver.
Chris Godwin still not playing. Apparently had a knee cleanup after the ankle injury. This team is going to spread the football around a ton. Baker Mayfield's at his best when he doesn't have to focus on one wide receiver, when he can distribute the football. His best season in Cleveland was his rookie year when he didn't have OBJ. His best seasons in Tampa have come when he doesn't have to hyper target somebody. He chooses to. That's a little bit different. But he has Evans. He has Godwin. Jayden McMillan had a strong end of the season. Emeka Egbuka can come in. If Godwin is out to start the season, Egbuka is going to pop. When Godwin comes back, let's be honest. Would we be surprised if Mike Evans suffers a hamstring injury and misses 4 games? Now Egbuka is still on the field. So, he's going to get plenty of run with this offense at any point in this season. Even if he's at 70% snap share, he's likely going to be running routes 95% of the time. That's going to lead to 80-plus targets. And while I do think that the Bucs offense will regress, just because it will regress in touchdowns doesn't necessarily mean it regresses in total yards. There's a world where Emeka Egbuka can have over 60 catches and over 800 yards this season.
I'll quickly throw out on Godwin just to finish up Josh's point. I don't remember which of the injury specialists it was over at Football Guys, but there was a picture that came out of Chris Godwin he has almost no muscle mass in the calf muscle where he has had the injury. I think Godwin has a longer way back than what we're pretending he does.
So his leg, so one leg looks like Rachaad White's legs. Okay, good to know.
Not quite, but one leg looks like Chris Godwin's legs, and the other one looks like Devonta Smith's legs.
Big time.
Yeah.
Hutchinson Brown legs.
Yeah.
Steven, he's asking Ryan how to feel about Jayden Reed with all the golden hype and nothing from Reed. He has some sort of disorder where he keeps drafting Jayden Reed.
I had that disorder early. I've gotten
called a
over
toxic relationship.
I was gonna say it is. I'm gonna be honest. Two things got me off of Reed, and one is the hype that you're talking about that we've heard nothing. The other is I'm gonna give Josh credit here. Josh presented great facts about when this team goes to 12 personnel. Jayden Reed leaves the field, plain and simple.
Yeah, I saw a stat. I think it was from. I think it was JJ Zacharyson, but I don't want to, give the wrong credit where it deserved. But of all of the 12 personnel that the Packers ran, Jayden Reed was only on the field for 6% of those snaps.
Yeah.
So he's exclusive to 11 personnel, basically.
On a team with two highly drafted tight ends, on a team with a bruiser at running back, they're going to run plenty of 12 personnel, and it makes Jayden Reed scary for me. I have not fully jumped on the golden hype train yet. I still have Reed ahead of him. But what has happened is Reed, who at one point this year was like my wide receiver 18, is down to
last year.
Maybe it was last year. Maybe I'm just confusing the year. Regardless, he's like my wide receiver 37 now. I don't want to say I'm off, but I'm off. So
Ryan is exposing himself less and less to Jayden
far
Reed.
less. I spend so
Reed's
much
my
time,
36, Ryan. So I'm there with you.
I spend so much time exposing myself to Christian Kirk. I don't have time for Jayden Reed anymore. So
it does feel weird that he comes off the field in those situations because he feels like the most dynamic receiver they have. So why would you take your most dynamic guy off the field in 12 personnel? I understand you normally want a deep threat, but Jayden Reed is also a deep
He can kind of do a little bit of everything. He just Josh said this about a guy we talked about earlier. He just doesn't do anything great.
But he can run fast. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Before we get into 100 through 150 here to wrap up the show, Weird Ball, do we really think Drake May is that good? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's the Patriots fan. He's a lot more tuned in to a lot of,
I'll talk about it.
The writers and everything. But I mean, he showed last year he can play.
Yeah, he can play. And much better system with a much better offensive coordinator. All reports from camp saying he looks really good, looks really comfortable. Been dropping it, quote, in the bucket to a lot of receivers, both on the run and steady in the pocket. Again, no pads early on, but he seems to be taking to Josh McDaniel's system really good. So I think Drake May is going to have a good season. I know I'm not going to get him in any of my drafts because I'm play with a lot of Patriots fans, but in leagues where I'm not with Patriots fans, Drake May will be that quarterback that I will look to target later in drafts.
For shits and giggles, we did an 8-team mock draft this past Friday because there's still a community out there for 8-team leagues. And the last person,
based on the comments, there 100% is a community out there in 8-team leagues.
The last person to draft a quarterback, the 8th quarterback, they actually took Drake May, and Baker Mayfield went undrafted in this league. So,
I mean, you got a sack on you to do that, but
sure. Other teams had already drafted backup quarterbacks, and he had just waited. It happened to be my guest, Steve Lawson. He had just waited and took May over Baker Mayfield because of the rushing upside. So,
yeah, he has. I wouldn't expect a crazy amount of rushing. Just throwing that out there. It's gonna be good. But, Weird Ball. I don't know why people don't believe in Josh McDaniels. I get it. He's old.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Joe. I remember when he got hired, I said that to you that I thought Patriots fans would be excited, and you said they are not.
No, for the most part, people weren't excited. Like this guy again. Oh, you mean the guy that had the only good year of Mac Jones? Oh, you mean the guy that was able to take Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo to 3-1 while Tom Brady was injured and out, or not injured and out, suspended. Like the guy who has done all this, you Hunter Henry fans, tight ends, you like late tight ends, go draft Hunter Henry because he's going to lead. He'd be second on the team in targets. So, yeah, it's unbelievable. I have no worries whatsoever. Yeah. All right, moving into 100 through 150. Quinshon Judkins. Cool. We're just going to skip that. Cam Scatabo, running back 35, 107th overall. Jayden Higgins, wide receiver 51 at 111th overall. Tyler Warren, what's up, tight ends? 115th overall, still too high. Tre Harris, wide receiver 54 at 125th overall. Colston Loveland, tight end 12, 128th. Luther Burden III, wide receiver 59, 133rd. Bashal Tootin, RB 43 at 139th. And Jaden Blue right behind him at 44 and 140th. The one that exceeds expectations. Josh, we'll start with Jayden Higgins. You say you really want to say Scatabo. But
yeah, I do. I love me some Scatabo, but I don't think Tyrone Tracy's going anywhere. I'll keep it a little brief with Jayden Higgins. We've talked about this during the Houston Texans a look inside. This team is going to be top 3, top 5 in the NFL in 11 personnel. That's going to put 3 wide receivers on the field. When you're on the field, you're running routes. There's a high opportunity for production at that point.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk has played 20 of 34 games over the last 2 seasons. As much as we like Christian Kirk and we think that he can have a Darnell Mooney type of season, if that injury bug hits again, guess where that Darnell Mooney type season goes?
Yeah,
goes to Jayden Higgins. Now you want to add in the elephant in the room, which is Joe Mixon just suffered an injury that apparently there's no timetable on. What if the Nick Chubb that Houston gets is the Nick Chubb from the last 2 years and there's no juice in that knee?
Oops.
This team is going to have to throw the football 600 plus times. So, and they're going to deviate from the scheme at that point without running the football as much as they'd probably like. So that's going to open up way more opportunities for Higgins. So I think there's a lot of variance in where he can ultimately finish this season. But at, 111th overall, you're looking at 11th, 12th round pick at that point. That's worth a flyer for a potential top 40 wide receiver.
Absolutely.
And a guy that you weren't super high on earlier, Ryan, but it seems to be changing over the last few weeks. Tre Harris.
Yeah, I mean, it's changing because I'm catching on to the story that everybody else is telling that Quentin Johnson ain't that fucking good. Plain and simple.
Wait. So we've seen the videos of training camp of the deep in cuts and him dropping footballs because nothing's fucking changed.
The more I started to think about it as well, how many times are we going to come into a season with the staff questioning and the beat writers questioning and everybody wondering if Quentin Johnston has it? Like, clearly there's a problem with Quentin Johnston, plain and simple. So when you look at this list of guys who can exceed expectations, like Josh, I had another guy I wanted to pick. It's Bashal Tootin. But the other problem with that is I still like Travis Etienne. So my story of why Bashal Tootin would exceed expectations, it would 100% revolve around an Etienne injury or an Etienne trade. So I don't know that Tootin will exceed expectations. The fact of the matter is this: Tre Harris is going off the board very, very cheap. And it is becoming increasingly evident with Mike Williams now out of the way, because I think he would have got the veteran bump. With Mike Williams now out of the way, Quentin Johnston remaining as inconsistent as it comes, Tre Harris is going to have every chance to come in here and win this second wide receiver spot. And if he can grasp that, Quentin Johnston was a top 30 wide receiver last year, or top 40 wide receiver last year in that spot. And if Tre Harris beats him, the expectation is that he would also beat what Quentin Johnston did last year. So exceeding expectations from where he's being drafted right now seem relatively easy by beating up on a guy who clearly doesn't want his damn job.
QJ, what are you going to do? I'm just saying, I called it.
Again, it's you. I mean, 90% of my takes come from you and Josh bullying me about how wrong I am. And this is one that it's taken some time. But the fact of the matter is this, Joe, me and you talked about this a few weeks ago, and Josh may have been on the show. Obviously, it's been a blur for the last month. I had to remind myself how much I liked Tre Harris coming out of college. I hated the system he ended up in. I like this kid a lot. And now the system, as people are getting out of his way, feels a lot friendlier.
Yeah, I mean, without having a real tight end threat, like they have some decent options with Disley and Conklin and all the hype around Oronde Gadsden, but again, he's a 5th round rookie.
And he can't block for shit, which is going to be a problem.
Exactly, right? So if they do end up wanting to throw the football, like for all the love that we have for Ladd McConkey, and by we I mean Joe, he's not going to be a 150 target guy. That's not this system.
One could only wish.
So, but he can be a 135 target guy, right?
You know where he would be a 150 target guy, Josh?
New England.
In fucking New England with Josh McDaniels if they drafted him.
Yeah. Wow.
But that doesn't mean that Tre Harris can't come in and have 100 targets, 105 targets.
And that's kind of where I've been working.
In this style of offense, we've seen that from Baltimore, right? Like Mark Andrews came in and had 130 some odd targets. Hollywood Brown had 130 some odd targets one year, right? So like those top 2 targets can coexist with somewhat similar target shares. And Harris's game is different enough from Ladd McConkey that they can separate themselves while working together to be better pieces for this offense.
Yeah.
We'll get to one question here before we just throw in some we'll call them rookie streams because they're not going to be on your roster all the time, but they might be able to help you out every now and then. And maybe this might be one of the guys. What do you think about Trevor Etienne in year 1? Trevor, not Travis, of course.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I have not dug enough into his Carolina situation. I liked him in the draft. I didn't love him in the draft. He goes to a Carolina situation that's kind of crowded for everything that he was. Rico Dowdle was good enough last year in Dallas, and Chuba Hubbard was great. I hesitate to use great, but he was very good for the Carolina Panthers.
I would say he was reliable. He was hardly great.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Hubbard is going to regress this year,
but I don't know that it's going to be at the expense of Trevor Etienne. No, I will say, I cover the Carolina Panthers. They're the only team I'm covering for Football Guys in the training camp reports this year. So I will get very well versed in Carolina Panther football over the next 4 weeks. Trevor Etienne is one I plan on digging in. Right now, I don't have an opinion. He is certainly, Josh, I'll be honest, he wasn't even on my dynasty radar, to be perfectly honest. 4th round draft capital isn't bad, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, he really wasn't a highly touted prospect. He gets carried by his last name because his brother was a 1st round pick. I mean, I think at best he's the RB3 on this team. What that's worth, maybe 60 carries if he's lucky. I doubt that.
Yeah, I have him at that.
Rico Dowdle is only on a 1-year deal. Chuba Hubbard just signed an extension. They get Jonathan Brooks back next year, but after 2 straight seasons with ACL injuries, how much would Jonathan Brooks even have in the tank heading into 2026? So, I mean, there's opportunity in the future, but year 1, I think you're looking at very minimal.
Moving into outside the top 150, guys that could end up making impacts on your rosters every now and then. Again, these are guys you're probably not drafting unless you're in extremely deep leagues or you're in 16, 14 team leagues. Even then, you might be seeing some of these guys if you're just in traditional 16 person or 16 player rosters. But Josh, looking at your guys from the University of Miami, Cam Ward and Elijah Arroyo from the U. Of course, Cam Ward should be pretty viable. The guaranteed starter now. Not that was really in question, but with Will Levis getting the surgery.
Yeah. Did anybody see the picture of his shoulder?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Dude, looked like he has a third growth on there. Like it's so weird.
It's gross.
Look like mayonnaise and coffee.
Gross. And Elijah Arroyo's openings help with the release of Noah Fant. So
I think the release of Noah Fant speaks volumes about Elijah Arroyo.
Yeah, I mean, the way that they've been hyping this kid up in camp, they said that if he was healthy throughout much of his college career, he likely would have been a top 15 pick, which would have put him in the same stratosphere as Colson Loveland and Tyler Warren this year, right? I love Elijah Arroyo. I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan. I saw a lot of this kid last year. Cam Ward used him a ton over the middle of the field. He is a game breaker. He can do a lot of things, especially if the scheme works to where he can get open, right? How he fits within this scheme is a little different because Clint Kubiak, the way that he used like Juwan Johnson, for instance, like that's kind of the way, the carbon copy I think would work. Is that's kind of the role that he would play. Now, Juwan Johnson, for, all of his shortcomings, saw over 60 targets last year, but just didn't really do a ton with them, which was kind of why he was very underwhelming. If Elijah Arroyo can see 60-plus targets, there's a potential that, maybe he scores a couple extra touchdowns and he becomes, more of a streaming option, can potentially creep into that top 20, maybe top 15 at the tight end position. But you're getting him free. Like, he's not being drafted, right? AJ Barner, who was the rookie they got last year, likely to end up playing that sort of like Foster Moreau, like inline blocking tight end role, which is going to free up Elijah Arroyo as more of the pass catcher, which fits right up his alley. So there's usage opportunity there. And I've talked plenty about how I don't think that the scheme really fits at all with the wide receivers they have on hand, which is why I'm very out on JSN this year. But that then could lead more opportunities for Elijah Arroyo. On the Cam Ward side of things, has any number one overall pick been talked about less heading into training camp? Like, seriously, like all the talk has been about Travis Hunter. It's all been about Ashton Jeanty. It's been about literally everybody but Cam.
We haven't even heard reports about how small his hands are, like Joe Burrow.
I mean, it's been ridiculous. Like, the last couple of things I've seen is that he's had not some great practices the last couple of days. But if you watch any sort of film from him in college, this kid has the mentality of a goldfish. And what I mean by that is if he goes out and has a bad rep, it doesn't drag into the next rep. It's just it right over his head, and he just goes about his business. Like, he doesn't dwell on what he fucked up at.
And you kind of gathered that when they were doing the kind of like in-depth looks at him and Shadur Sanders together. Mm-hmm. Like, the way he approached practice, how could you not wanted this kid at 101? Yeah. Like, he was cool.
And we talked about Calvin Ridley. Like, Calvin Ridley is the weapon there. I mean, for all the fun that we like to make of Treylon Burks because he hasn't been much of anything, like him getting released only makes Calvin Ridley that much more valuable because the only other options on that team are a washed up Tyler Lockett and 2 fourth-round rookies and an undrafted rookie who happens to be Cam Ward's best friend.
Yeah.
So there's room for Ridley to pop. And it's going to make life maybe a little bit harder for Cam Ward. But Cam Ward is the type of player that he's not afraid to spread the football around, and he's going to get the football in the hands of the guys that are open. And Weirdball, to answer your question with Brian Callahan, I don't love him, if I'm being honest. The scheme is right out of the Cincinnati Bengals playbook. But if there's a quarterback from this current class that could come in and do 70% of what Joe Burrow does in this system, it's Cam Ward.
We'll see what happens. Adding from what you add to Ryan's list, throws in Mason Taylor, Jordan James, and Dylan Sampson. Of course, Sampson gets the bump with this whole Quinshon Judkins happenings. And Kyle Williams and Jalen Royals, and Kyle Williams getting a big, he's had a hot and cold training camp so far.
Yeah, I'll go real quick. Mason Taylor, the reason I listed the tight ends first is because the way Josh worded this question is, who can make a multi-week impact? Well, tight ends are the easiest position outside of the top 150 that could have a multi-week impact. And when you look at Mason Taylor and Elijah Arroyo less so. I think he's great. Don't get me wrong. He's on my list too. But Mason Taylor arguably is the second target on his own team already. So, and if you read into Madden rankings, I think Mason Taylor is the third highest rookie in Madden. Like, a lot of weird stuff going on where I think this kid could be surprisingly good as a rookie. Jordan James, I just think Jordan James is a more talented back than Isaac Orendo, and I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to need to monitor Christian McCaffrey's workload. I think Jordan James could surprise. Dylan Sampson goes unsaid why he is a value right now. And then, Joe, you put me onto the Kyle Williams has been great in camp so far. This is a wide open wide receiver room. And you mentioned they're using him in like a gadget role as well. They're using him all over the place, which is always great. And the same kind of story is going on for Jalen Royals right now. Jalen Royals is practicing with the ones. This is a team that is likely to lose Rashee Rice for at least 3 to 4 games. Xavier Worthy is not a do-it-all wide receiver.
He's already in concussion protocol.
Jalen Royals was not a bad prospect when I did my initial rookie stuff.
I know plenty of people that comped Jalen Royals to Rashee Rice.
Well,
that's the role right there, right?
so guess what? How the question's worded: a multi-week relevancy. Well, I'm pretty sure the first 3 weeks, the Rashee Rice role might be available in Kansas City. So,
and it might be going to Jalen Royals. That's interesting. Yeah, we'll see. And Weirdball brings up the depth of the Vikings wide receiver room. I'm just going to throw it up there. After Addison and Jefferson, it's Jalen Nailor and Rondale Moore. I don't know what depth you're talking about, but
I think a lot of who's the kid that's there, because I was looking at him. I'm blanking.
Ty Felton.
Right, Ty Felton is a kid I liked coming out of college, but the problem is, this is going to sound weird, his game comps a lot to Jalen Nailor, so now he has to like get past Jalen Nailor. And Naylor did things for this offense last year. Not great things, but he did things. And I don't know that I would call this necessarily a deep room weird ball, but I see where you're going there, that outside of the top 2 wide receivers, you could see any of these. Okay. And he says it's a non-fantasy opinion. And that's very much warranted, that a lot of these guys could step in and make contributions to this team, because there's no taking away from what Jalen Nailor provided last year just for fantasy.
He's a good third. Yeah. He's a good third in football. Yeah. I'll give him that. He's a good third in football. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's Rondale Moore might also be a decent third in football, in real life football. So, yeah, exactly. Steven adds, we joke, Efton Chisholm is currently on the roster right now. Like, that is what everyone is projecting.
Yeah, he's been catching eyes in training camp. He really has.
Everyone is projecting Efton Chisholm to make the roster and like beat out Kendrick Bourne for like day 1 snaps. So,
which is just heartbreaking.
Which
he's not. I can't. Oh, okay. Because I was saying, I can't wait to see who they actually cut at wide receiver, because
Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. It's not even a question.
You've been saying Polk from the rip.
I told you guys this.
You did.
I told you this. You laughed at me. You said there's no way they cut their second round guy they drafted last year.
I laughed.
Yeah, there's a big reason they cut him. Is because he fucking blows. They're talking about keeping 7 receivers on this team. And the 2 that they'll cut will be Javon Baker and Jalen Polk.
I say Matt Collins ain't going anywhere. So.
No. That's unreal. That's unbelievable that they just blew their 2 picks last year. So, yeah, it's a real possibility that they leave. Hi, Conan. Nice to know your real name, and it's not Weird Ball. We appreciate you.
Hit that sub button, buddy. We do this every single Wednesday.
Every single Wednesday, and it never stops. And we got plenty other shows as well.
Well, it's going to stop for Joe, who has a real job in sports entertainment.
Sorry, guys. St. Paul with the party animals this weekend.
Yeah, boy.
My bad. Choreographed 3 dances this week, I think. We're on one now. 4, 3, 4, something like that. I don't know. We're on one.
Look at my guy.
People are like, hey, Carson's walk up. Choreo? Sure. All right. Yeah. Give me 30 minutes and I'll come up with something. Okay. For Josh, Ryan, myself, you can follow Club Fantasy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Club Fantasy FFL. The URL, clubfantasyffl.com. I would say, always remember, defense wins championships. Offense wins fantasy football. We'll see you next week. I won't be seeing you until the middle of September.
I say you're going to hear my mouth for the next 6 weeks, folks. Get used to it.
Yeah. You won't be seeing me until at least week 2 of the NFL season. And for all my Start Sit Different Day fans, I'm sorry you have to listen to Josh host for at least the first 6 weeks. I apologize for that. I wish you the best. I wish I could be there with you. Alas, I cannot due to obligations such as work. So
dream job obligations.
Yeah, my apologies, everybody. So, and Conan just asking Bucky and CMC. We all love CMC. Obviously, just want to worry a little bit about maybe the load management, but even then, he's still going to be good. I think Bucky takes a slide in year 2. These guys don't. They both like Bucky Irving.
Well, I'll actually just throw out to you, Conan. Our next 4 episodes, Josh, or might be one in a buffer in between. They're all ranking episodes. So if you turn in,
start with quarterbacks next week, and then running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. All of our rankings you can find on the website clubfantasyffl.com. I'll be honest with you, I'm probably the highest on CMC. I have him, I believe, is my RB3.
Yeah, I think CMC has worked to 5 for me, and Bucky is 8. So
there you go. All right. Always remember, defense wins championships. Offense wins fantasy football. We will see you next.